All right, as we continue with lesson 2, I have brought in a couple files to help talk about the next little bit of this chapter. All right, so explore project settings is what we're looking at in the chapter. And you want to go up to File, and you're going to go to Project Settings and General. So right here, you're going to see the name of the project, and that's what we named it up here as well. Anytime you see the star, it means that not everything's been saved. So we do have autosave, or you can hit save as well. Every so often, just depending, because if you have your power go out, you might lose something as far as that. However, when this box is open, I can't actually go up there and save it. Okay, so project settings. Sorry, I got sidetracked there for a moment. And there's different ones for video rendering and playback. Right now you can see that this computer is set to Mercury Playback Engine software only. And if that's the only thing that you can see, it means you don't have a graphics card capable of doing any other sorts of adjustments. And that's okay as well. It will work just fine with it. This is actually where I normally leave the settings for my work computer, because the graphics card I have and the other stuff that's in here, they like to fight, and it's caused Premiere to crash. I think the book will tell you to pick something specific if you are able to click on this drop-down menu. One of the other ones is the Mercury Playback Engine GPU acceleration, and that is going to optimize, and it's going to give your graphics hardware different tasks to render, and it's going to help with smooth playback. But like I said, I had it running that way in one of the versions, and it was causing stuff to crash. So I'm just going to leave mine on the Mercury Playback Engine software, and that's perfectly okay. And some of you, this may be the only option you have. Also talking about this area, you can come in. There's also Scratch Disk. I usually have mine set up same as Project. And if you were bringing in stuff, here's your ingest settings. But we got to this from File, we went down to Project Settings, and then General is where we were at for this video rendering and playback. And I know this stuff is all a lot, and we're just kind of looking at Adobe Premiere as the interface and some of the features that it offers before we dive into the big editing. So go ahead and hit cancel, or if you've made changes here and you want to keep them, click OK. All right, so the other stuff that Playback Engine can do is you really want to have real-time playback if possible, because you can watch the results of your choices right away, and it plays nicely. However, sometimes we get a sense where something might be dropping a frame, and that's called dropping frames, and it's going to skip some frames during every second, and to the human eye it's not real noticeable, but it can slow down your playback as well. One of the things that you can do to avoid that is doing a preview render, and you can choose different render effects for each sequence. So as we've talked about this, this green one that you're seeing, the mark above this clip, has already had a preview render, and it's going to play at real time. However, if I look at this other sequence, you can see that this is yellow. It's going to probably play back at reasonably close to real time, but it would probably play with some of those dropped frames. And then when you bring in elements such as titles or maybe still photos, such as this one right here, you can notice that this line above it is red. And that means it's going to struggle. It's going to have to process harder to get this clip to play. So like I said, you can do that like preview render, and it will turn all the stuff green. And to get to that, and also the way this stuff comes in, if it's yellow or red, is also somewhat dependent on the sequence settings that you've provided as well. So whatever sequence you have, make sure this area is highlighted with the blue outline. You come up to sequence, and then you have options of render effects into out, render into out, and other options here. So if we just go render into out, this processes, And then notice that the yellow and the red both have turned green, and now it should play at a more real-time playback. So that's what it's talking about with playback, and that also explains why you're seeing different colors up here at the top in your timeline. I tried to undo it just so the colors would go back, but because it was already rendered, it's going to hold on to that. I would have to go find those data files and actually pull it out or throw it away for those to turn back to the yellow and red that we had seen. So that will help you play stuff in real time.